Gonna do this rant unedited. Ignore any gameplay because I'm probably gonna be focusing more on ranting instead. But yesterday I came to a bit of a revelation of something with Rematch, and I felt it warranted a conversation because I haven't seen any of it. So starting off, let's just talk about my experience with Rematch. I played the Rematch beta. I got access on Steam. I applied for Steam and Xbox, but I play primarily on Xbox. I pre-ordered the game, which from my recollection, if you pre-ordered it, you were going to get any access to future betas. I never got an access beta code for Xbox, so that was weird, but I dismissed it because it seemed like PlayStation and Steam were the main ones for the final beta test. So, I got it on Steam, however, and I loved it immediately. I mean, I grew up as a kid playing sports games all the time, FIFA, Madden, NBA. As I grew up, I kind of got away from that, right? Because they realized they were just bad games. But when I played Rematch, it immediately, even in the rocky beta, it was like, this is the best sports game ever. Like, ever. And to a degree, I still agree with that statement. But there, you could see the potential. It was tremendously flawed, right? But there was still a crap ton of potential. So, day -3, if you want to call it, of the release with the pre-order beta. And we get information that no crossplay is coming out. Immediately, I try to be empathetic, because it is a small studio. There is the first multiplayer game. And rightfully, my friends are upset. And to be open, I bought this game for 2 of my friends, essentially. Because I wanted to group up and play with them that much. And I knew one of them didn't play it at all, and isn't necessarily a big soccer guy. And I knew that he would still enjoy this game, so that's why I still went ahead and bought it for all of us. So, keep in mind, I basically bought this game 3 times. With that being said, when there's no crossplay added, and, you know, 2 of us are on Xbox, 1 of us are on PlayStation, I tried to defend it, at least, and they were relatively open about it afterward. Did I wish they, you know, revealed it more than just, you know, the day 1 of the release? Yes. But, you know, it's a small studio, I tried to give them a break. But then, you know, it says it's going to take a couple weeks. I'm thinking 2 weeks. We're now 3 weeks in, we have no crossplay. And what's even more insulting about it is we haven't really received any updates whatsoever. Which is the most infuriating aspect of this. So, we're multiple weeks in, and one of the things that really upset me and really turned my attitude toward this development team was when we got a tweet, basically randomly, saying, yes, people, crossplay is still coming, when we paid, for most people paid $30 to $40 for this game, right? And I just felt like that was a tweet that was not heralded, because you didn't tell us crossplay wasn't coming, and up until the release of the game, we have always been told, yes, this game's going to have cross-platform play. Which, in especially today's day and age, is a necessity. We're not in, you know, 2010s era where, you know, crossplay is not necessary for a game to survive, when it is today. So that's a whole other issue. There's the server issues. I'm not even here to talk about that. Let me get into the main point of today's video. The ranked system, there's been a lot of complaints about it, and yesterday my friend and I came to a revelation about it. We lost a game, like 3-1, and we invited a guy to a party, you know, to heckle him, come and joke around a bit, right? Well, after heckling him for a bit, he said, y'all are trash, I bet you're not even plat 3 like me. We thought he was lying or joking, because in Rocket League, which we have a lot of experience with, people always lied about their ranks all the time, right? So we checked up his rank on the unofficial Rematch profile, if you will. He was a Plat 3, which intrigued us because we are Silver 2s. We don't play it, we've dropped off the game a lot, but we have a lot of issues with teammates as the typical Rematch style, right? But then we started looking at all of our other teammates. In a competitive 5v5 game mode, we came to the realization that there is no such thing as any sort of rank filtering. What do I mean by that? And I wish they were open about this. So, if you're a silver, you can be placed in a lobby with bronzes, golds, diamonds, platinums, elites, any rank. And we came to that realization because after he said that, we started checking the ranks of our teammates before and after games and during games sometimes. And we came to the realization that when you play, you can play your best game ever, but if your team's a team full of bronzes, you can't do much because the rank system is completely non-existent. It's essentially a 5v5 with a badge mode, essentially, compared to the casual 5v5. You can be in a game with your team having 2 diamonds, 2 silvers, and 1 plat, versus a team of 4 bronzes and 1 silver. There is absolutely zero sort of filterization for it. If you're a silver, you can play with anybody. It's not a bronze to silver ranking. It's not anything like that. It is straight up. And if you want to try this on your teammates yourself, I'll link the rematch thing down below. But there is straight up zero sort of filtering at the rank. You play with who you play with. And this was incredibly disheartening because while you have so many teammate issues of people who just never want to pass or never want to play the team game, the more frustrating aspect is now I feel like the game doesn't matter. I can play my best game ever, but if my team's a team full of bronzes versus a team full of plats and diamonds, I'm not winning that. And going back to Rocket League, well, yes, Rocket League has different mechanics. Even if you take a diamond and you limit them where they can't do aerials or any sort of fancy flips, they're still going to beat a bronze or silver every day of the week. Like, there's no doubt. So, that's the same in Rematch, I would say. There's a reason someone's going to be a bronze or silver. And it's just frustrating because, A, I feel like I have no control over my rank. I have no control of who I play with. I mean, even if my 3 buddies of mine in crossplay existed to this day, the rank system would be so convoluted and messed up that the 3 of us together wouldn't necessarily make a difference. Because we still have 2 teammates who could be 2 bronzes and we lose, or 2 diamonds and we win. So it took away that sense of ownership in the game, if you will, to where it feels like nothing matters. So I'm really deflated. I truly loved this game, but it's hard to love a game when you've been matched with nothing but a quiet dev team who scolds their own community for asking about crossplay updates. You get a dev team that doesn't know how to put a basic rank system in the game. It's just things that are basic sense, common sense, that aren't added. You know, I was even thinking about it afterward. Once we were dumbfounded because we won a game 4-0, which our team were all diamonds basically, and us 2 silvers versus a team full of bronzes. And that kind of came to the realization of like 99% of games with ranked modes tend to have your teammates' rank shown at the end of the game, or sometimes during the middle of it. And then I kind of came to the realization of, with Rematch, are they hiding that because they didn't want people to know? Because this is clearly something that they didn't want to talk about openly. So I'm hoping in the upcoming FAQ that we have that we actually get answers to crossplay and some sort of adjustment to Rematch Ranked. Because I'm not sure how many people know about it. I saw one Reddit thread about it, and that was it. So it's just coming to the point where I can't with this game. It's impossible. Between teammates who just don't want to pass, paired with a ranking system that is essentially entirely luck. So sorry for my dog barking there. Some mailmen just came up. But anyways, it's just one of those things where it's hard to support a dev team where it feels like they're acting more like an EA, more so than a small indie studio with a great live service game. All the fundamentals are here. It's just no communication from a dev team has really exhausted this game. So much to the point where I'm trying to get a refund because it's pretty obvious that we're not going to get these fixes. What's more important is getting cosmetics into a system more so than updating the team about crossplay. Like I said, we're nearly a month into this game's release. We have no updates when we were told it'd be a couple of weeks, which is very vague, might I add, but I was thinking 2 to 3 weeks, but we still have no updates, and now next week, we're getting an FAQ about it, and we've been told that there's a basic framework, which a basic framework doesn't sound like a lot of progress to me. So paired with the ranking system that I found out basically isn't a ranking system, is rather than a collection of a bunch of random slop of players, and I'm done with this game. Like, and the other thing, which is partially community's fault, there's not a lot of creators that are essentially giving anything negative about this game. There's a lot of tech guides, movement guides, passing guides, But there's no criticism toward the studio, which is the most aggregating part of it, because at the end of the day, they probably know their game's messed up, but the game needs attention in order for them to realize, oh, people actually care about this. So I'm partially annoyed at the content creators in this game because there's been no attempt to raise awareness at this terrible ranking system. I remember watching this video back of like, it was basically just an unedited game of what a bunch of elites players look like. And now I'm like, well, that game was probably 2 or 3 elites. You know, that guy who playing it happened to be an elite versus everyone else who could have been a silver or a bronze. So it's just one of those things where I feel like I don't get burned often by games. I don't pre-order games. I don't get invested into AAA games anymore. And this is the first time I felt like I've ever been burned by a smaller indie studio. And it feels like a big slap in the face. There's never been any apologies about paying $30-40 for a crossplay game that doesn't have crossplay. There's never been any sort of remorse for their action. That's why it feels more so like an EA, more so than an indie studio. So overall, the only reason I'm making this is because after last night's revelation that the ranking system isn't real, I'm aggravated, I'm annoyed, I'm disappointed, I feel like I've been burned, and I don't know if this game can do anything to get my love back. Unless they tell in this FAQ that, hey guys, we're sorry, we're gonna fix the crossplay, it actually comes out tomorrow. Hey guys, the rank system was messed up, we're sorry, we're gonna fix that tomorrow. Unless things like this happen, I can't wait for this game, the Season 1 to come, and then be told, oh yeah, it's going to take a couple of months to fix crossplay. It's going to take a couple of months to get more game modes. It's going to take a couple of months. And this isn't a free-to-play game. I really need to emphasize this. At first, I was okay with paying $30-40 for this game because it felt like it deserved that. Like, the mechanics, the smoothness of it. But then when the day 1 dropped, it felt worse than the beta. I had more issues on day 1 of playing than the beta. It felt like a worse version of the game. The game modes were incredibly limited. Essentially, the beta was a worse version of the actual game itself, it felt like, on release. So, I've felt like I've just been burned. I just need to get it out there. Because, no, I don't see anyone criticizing them. I saw a lot of issues, people criticizing the day 1 release with the servers and bugs, but I haven't seen anything since, which is the annoying aspect of it. And it sucks because there is such a great game here. When you get in the loop, and you get decent matchmaking, it's one of those things where you can play 50 games, you know, start playing at 6 p.m., play 50 games, and you blink and it's midnight, and it's felt like you've been playing for, you know, maybe an hour. The game loop is quite possibly one of the most addicting of all time, but it's matched with a dev team that doesn't seem like they care whatsoever. So that's my rant. I know I was all over the place, but I hope this video in some ways inspires some creator somewhere with a bigger voice than mine to be like, oh yeah, this is an issue. This needs to be fixed. Let me make a video about it myself. So if you're watching this and you're a content creator, please feel free to take whatever words or ideas I said and use them for your own, because I really love this game. I really do. But it's so flawed to a point where it's ignored so much that I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. It's upsetting, it's angering, and like I said, it's the first time I've really been burned by a game, you know, and I pretty much I blindly trust a lot of indie studios, and generally that works out well for me. But this is that one where it feels like we're playing an EA game with how the community is being treated, and I can't. I'm not willing to play a game that does that, so that's my rant on Rematch. Please just spread the word whatever way you can. And if you don't believe yourself, check your teammates' ranks. If you want to do it before, during a game, after a game, check your teammates' ranks. And I guarantee you, if you're a plat, you're going to be mixed in with bronzes on your team. You're going to be mixed in with diamonds on your teams. I guarantee it. Go ahead, check it yourself. Anyways, that's it. Have a good one, guys.